You're listening to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast, episode 59.
Welcome to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast, where positivity and spirituality create an enhanced life's journey with the wisdom of Ifa and Orisha. I am your host, Omileti Olubunmi.
Welcome to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast. I am Omileti Olubunmi. Thank you for spending some of your time with me to talk about all things Orisha, spirituality, and growth. So turn up the volume in your car, put on your earbuds. This is like a good, quick workout session. This is it. Grab something great to drink and let's chat. This episode is being brought to you by our newest resource available, the Alejo's Guide to Godparents, inside of Alejo's 101. Great new framework for a brand new person who is coming in and is going to ask the question, how do I get a godparent? Why is this so hard? And this is what it basically is going to help you with. Go to www.orishawisdom.com/Iya Omileti and click on the image that says, finally, your guide to choosing the right godparent. Watch the quick video and get it if it resonates, because it's an amazing opportunity that has come up with lots of work from your questions, your experiences, and from people within the community. This is an Ask a Priest episode. What is it? For those of you who are new to the podcast, of course, welcome. And just a quick explanation. This is a series that we have come up with where you, the community, gets to ask questions that you've always wanted to ask to an Orisha, an Orisha priest. And now you have the chance. I'll put it on the show notes, as you know, so that you know how to access it. But if you absolutely must on this very second and you're not driving, go to www.orishawisdom.com/ask a priest. No dashes altogether. With that, let's get this episode going. I have a question from Camille, and it's a simple one. What is the Odu that governs me? And I looked at it and I said, I wish I would have been smart enough when I was earlier on in my quest to ask that question, because I didn't even know what an Odu was. First of all, Camille, thank you so much for taking the time to ask this question. I think that it is a great one. And it is one that, because you're asking it early on, you're going to be ahead of the game when most people just want to know who their Orisha is, and that's it. Odu, as you know, is basically the message within. It's an energy. And each energy has several messages, but they all play with other Oduns. So each Odu is different. Just like each circumstance is different, each message is different. But to find out what Odu governs you personally, this is what you have to know. For you to have a governing Odu, it would come through certain ceremonies. There are many that are going to govern you within a situation. But I will tell you of the most common ones, and probably the most important one, which I didn't know of, but I'll tell you about it. If you initiate as a priest within the Orisha traditions, you're going to get an Ita. In Ita, you're going to get an Odu. That Odu governs you. Let's say, so I crowned Yemaya and I have Odun whatever. That is the Odun that governs me with that initiation, which is a big aspect of my life as a priestess. However, as you go along, you're going to get Oduns. Let's say you get, another initiation and an Odu is given to you with an Ita. Does that govern you? Well, it's going to govern your relationship with you for that particular shrine or deity. What I found out recently, and I say recently because it really was, and I should know better, right? But I guess we're all learning together. The most important Odu is the one that you get when you get the hand of Ifa. I was like, what? Like, I knew my Ocha one, and I'm like, my Ifa one? I don't even know what it was. Like, I was like, yeah, like I chucked it to the side. Like, Ocha was more important. Because with Ifa, it's your life's road map. It may not be like thoroughly complete, like other little pieces are going to complete it as you move along, but that is going to be like the bulk of your map. The Odu that governs you in your life is the one that will come from Ifa, from the hand of Ifa. And you can get it through Lukumi, through Isheshe. I'm not very well versed in candomblé since that's not my arena. So for all of you candomblé priests, let me know if that's something that is done within that area. But I know that in Isheshe and Lukumi, Santeria as well, you get the hand of Ifa, la mano de Orula, right? And when you get the hand of Ifa, you're going to get an Odu. So it doesn't matter if it's done in Isheshe or if it's done in Lukumi, you're going to get that Odu. That Odu is your life's map. That is your most important governing Odu. Now, I wanted to say this because I don't want everybody to be like, oh my God, I got to go get it. When you go to a reading, and let's say I go to a reading tomorrow, I get an Odu. That Odu is the energy that governs me at that time. As a rule of thumb, because this is not an exact science, so we tend to say, well, within 21 days, but we don't know when the 21 days started or when the 3 or 4 weeks started. So we kind of say in the range of 21 days, that Odu is surrounding you within that time that you get that reading. So let's say you get a reading tomorrow and the reading comes out, Ejiogbe, and it's in EB, in the worst possible scenario ever, linked to some other Odu, and it's EB in, I don't know. Let me see. I'm trying to look around. I don't know, loss of job or something. That energy is around you within a short period of time. So in a way, that Odu governs your situation, your energy for a period of time. You get it? It's kind of like one big one. So you have that big Odu for the hand of Ifa. But if you go to a reading, the Odu is most likely not going to be the one that you got for your hand of Ifa every time you go for a reading. So the one that governs you at that moment with the challenge that you're having is the right Odu for you at that time. So I think that's pretty cool because it's like we get glimpses of our map as we're chugging along in life. So we're given the map, and then we're giving another piece of the map and another piece of the map, and they all go together. So let's say that you have a certain type of Odu and it says, you have to be level-headed. And in this Odu, in the reading, it came out, well, you really should avoid fighting this week. And then this week, you had a full blowout fight with your mother or boyfriend, son, daughter, and you're like, oh my God, my big Odun says that I need to chill out. And then even on this one, for this reading, is like, I really, really need to chill out. So sometimes the main map Odu will give you the main hints of what your challenges are going to be. It could also give you gifts. And this is really good if you go to a priest that's really, really well developed, because they will also tell you, well, this Odu is also excellent since it shows that you're gregarious and you love children. Yeah, teaching would be good, like something like that. And it could help to steer you into the right direction. I think that's really, really cool. And the thing about Odu also Once you find out the how to get it, like once you got it, after you went through that and you found out which Odu governs you, respect it and respect the taboos that come along with it. And that because when you respect the taboos for that Odu, it is going to give honor to the deities who are protecting you. And I say deities because it's easier, but we can say, for the Orishas or the Egun or the spirits. Let's just say the spirits so that we all are in the same page for the spirits, because it could be Orisha or it could be a taboo for Egun, right? So let's say that you can't eat something in this Odu. Also remember to honor it. When you are receiving this ita, make sure that you get as much information as possible from the priest who gave it to you, because a lot of clues are going to be there. I found out that somebody, had felt kind of icky eating certain things, and he recently crowned Oshun and tells me, well, thank God that, I am now a priest because I don't eat that anyway because of this and this and that. And it all linked up later on. So Odu is kind of awesome. Actually, it's really awesome because you get to find really interesting hints that help you figure out who you are, what you can do, and how to maneuver as you are going through that journey. I think that's pretty amazing. And I hope, Camille, that you do get to find out what your Odu is with a very reputable priest. Do not rush in the process of getting the hand of Ifa or to getting Cariocha, because that's another way. That's a big, big ita. There's a couple of other ceremonies that will give you an ita. So anything that gives you an ita is going to give you an Odu. But the most important one would be the Ifa one, because that is your life. Like your life. Like from birth to death. Like your challenges, your thing. So Ifa Odu, amazing. Because that would be the Odu that governs you. But remember, it's not just one, because you could have Ifa, and let's say you go into an Orisha, so you go into Cariocha, then you would go in that arena as well. And that's another Odu that governs you. Every time you get an Ita, that Odu governs you. Yeah. It could be a little overwhelming. So a lot of people, when they come in, they're like, what? I'm like, oh yeah, my Odu with this Orisha is that. So that's something that a lot of people within the community will talk about. Like, oh, I got that Odu with this Orisha. And that's your relationship, your energy, your relationship with that Orisha, which is why that Odu was pulled. But that Odu still governs you with your relationship with that Orisha. I hope that it wasn't too confusing, but I really enjoyed this question because I am very, very happy that you asked this early on. I didn't even have a clue about this at all. And it just puts you in such a great spot than other new people don't even have a clue about. So I think that's really amazing. And I am so happy that you got to ask this question. And I thank you for your time for doing so. You've reached the end of this episode. Thank you so much, Camille, first of all, for asking the question. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this podcast episode. For show notes, go to www.orishawisdom.com/5959. I know, I keep saying it, but there's something that I've been brewing up with Orisha Wisdom, and it's coming. It is coming. It's for those Alejos and Aborishas who do not have a spiritual house just yet, are still looking. And I wonder what it could be. So it's coming. Yes, Orisha swag is also coming. And I am trying to figure out the best way to do this, but I think that I've gotten a couple of messages that they've been very excited and would love to support the podcast. And I'm going to just post some feelers out. And what I think I'm going to do is that in my information link, which is orishawisdom.com/Iya Omileti, I'm going to put a button in there. If you are interested in the swag, to get on the list there. I'm going to do that. And if you are interested in what's new that's coming with Orisha Wisdom, and this is going to be huge. I'm very, very excited about this. So if you're in Alejo, if you're in Aborisha, you do not have a spiritual house, that is going to be the place for you to check out and get on that waiting list. I think I can totally do that for you. And that way you will be the first to know. Also, let's see. I am so excited and I'm so grateful to all of you because the messages that I've received, your questions on Ask a Priest have been absolutely phenomenal. And I just wanted to thank you all for the time that you have taken to ask your questions and to support this podcast. You are totally amazing for that. If you like this episode, you found it valuable for you, or maybe you learned something new, or somebody that you know asked this question and you're like, oh, this could help you. Share it. Share this podcast episode so that someone else can get something out of it. And if you get a couple of minutes, for all of you fast typers out there, go over to iTunes, leave us a review. I read each and every one of them, and it really is helpful to keep us on the map and to just keep us going. Those couple of minutes that you take to share your thoughts, they're very important to me. And the words that you say, they mean the world. I also wanted to let you know and thank you for your interest. And if you would like, and if you can, support this podcast, I would be so thrilled if you check out my Patreon page at patreon.com/Iya Omileti, and you will have access to all of the podcast episodes before they are published with other perks. And for the new Patreons that we have, I just wanted to say thank you so much. It was just like, I was freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, there's nobody. And then just a person showed up and I'm like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. It was like so amazing and it was so surreal, but only if you can. And there are different tiers there and I get it. And that's why I created that. But I'm just so grateful if you can to help me to offset the cost for this podcast. And of course, so that I can create more content. Stay tuned for the next couple of episodes where we are going to continue to dive into other of your questions from Ask a Priest. Honestly, I can't wait. Until next time, may the elevated ancestors and all Orisha bless you immensely. Odabo.
Thank you for listening to the Orisha Wisdom Podcast. Be sure to check out the show notes at orishawisdom.com/podcast. Can't get enough of Orisha Wisdom? Check us out at orishawisdom.com and subscribe to our community. Remember, the wisdom of Ifa and Orisha is all around us. Be blessed, and until next time.